This illustration deals with a Class 1 Division 1 area location, and it contains the general requirements. NEC 501.10, A is in Apple 1, item number 6. And the purpose of change here was to recognize a type TC -ER-HL cable. The HL meaning this is a type cable, that could be used in a Class 1 Division 1 area. And such cable is not subject to physical damage and terminates with fittings for the location was added as a wiring method for a Class 1 Division 1 location. But now notice it's not supposed to be subject to a physical type damage. Now the first call out I would like to kind of review would be the one right above the cable to the right hand side of the illustration. And it states that this is a 600 volt or less cable. And of course it's mentioned and talked about in 501.10, A is in Apple 1, item number 6. And secondly, to the left hand side of the illustration, we have the wiring method routed there. And notice the call out is a cable covering, top left hand side of the illustration, and it's a gas and vapor type that meets the requirements of UL 2225. And then notice, if we review now the call out that's right below the wiring method, and the call out has an arrow pointing toward the cable again, and it's a type TC/ER-HL cable listed for a Class 1 Division 1 location or locations as outlined in 501.10A1, item number 6. Now, if you reference to the left of the wiring method plus the explosion-proof enclosure there, we have a listed seal that seals the cable, the core, and the jacket. So it's titled Listed Sealing and Fitting Required as outlined in 501.10, A is in Apple 1, item number 6. And then, of course, if you review the bullet pointing toward the equipment itself, then the title head of this call out is Explosion-Proof Enclosure. And again, Part 3 to Article 100, it's defined, and it's talked about in 500.7A. And then, of course, we're calling out between the two pieces of equipment here. It's a Class 1 Division 1 location, as talked about in 500.5, B as in boy, 1. In other words, the items would be listed there for it to be classified as a Class 1 Division 1 location. Now, reviewing the equipment below it, we have an explosion-proof enclosure that meets the requirements of 500.7A. Our cable coming into it now is a type TC-ER-HL cable, as outlined in 501.10, A is in Apple 1, item 6. And then the final thing that I'd like to call your attention to, let's go back to the cable to the right-hand side of the illustration. The cable is not subject to physical damage as outlined in 501.10A1, item 6, plus you would want to review 336.10, item 7, and the exception to item 7. And then, of course, we can read more about the cable being permitted in this Class 1 Division 1 location by looking and reviewing 501.10, A is in Apple 1, which allows this type P cable to be used. And you know, we recently just looked at this cable and talked about this cable, that it was a new article that dealt with this type P cable.